Imagine two of the largest economies in the world, one a debtor and the other a creditor, locked in a dance that influences the global market. The economic relationship between Japan and the United States is not just about numbers, it shapes the world economy. Why has Japan struggled with growth despite its surplus, and what does this mean for global trade? Get ready to unravel this complex economic saga. Welcome to our exploration of the economic interplay between Japan and the United States. These two nations boast the largest national economies, yet they find themselves in contrasting economic positions. The United States, leading with a significant deficit, and Japan, maintaining a surplus, create a unique economic narrative. Over the decades, their relationship has experienced a pendulum of economic tensions, marked by exchange rate fluctuations and trade frictions. Today, we delve into the structural foundations of this relationship, examining how past dynamics have shaped current challenges and potential solutions. This video will guide you through the key elements influencing their economic ties and the broader implications for the global economy. In this video, we will dissect the economic relationship between Japan and the United States, highlighting the transformation over the years. We'll start by understanding the structural foundation that has defined their interactions, the United States as a deficit nation and Japan as a surplus nation. We'll discuss the pivotal role exchange rates have played, with the yen and dollar experiencing dramatic shifts from 360.1 to 80.1, and now at 130.1. These fluctuations have sparked trade frictions and economic measures that have threatened global trading stability. Next, we'll explore the dramatic reversal in economic positions over recent decades. From the 1980s, when Japan was seen as the rising economic power, to the current era where the United States showcases economic expansion, while Japan struggles with stagnation. We'll analyze how Japanese fiscal policies, interest rates, and trade surplus strategies have impacted its growth. The video will delve into the ongoing economic debate between these nations, focusing on Japan's macroeconomic policy and the urgency for domestic demand-driven growth. We'll discuss how Japan's economic well-being is crucial for resolving the Asian economic crisis and stabilizing the world economy. We will also address the recurring cycle of currency and trade imbalances, the impact of competitive depreciation of the yen, and the risks posed by Japan's financial system. You will gain insights into proposed programs for future stability, including tax cuts, government spending increases, and comprehensive financial reform in Japan. Finally, we'll consider the broader implications for regions such as Wisconsin, where trade with Japan significantly impacts local economies. By the end of this video, you'll have a comprehensive understanding of the complex economic relationship between Japan and the United States and how it affects both nations and the world. Japan and the United States possess two of the largest national economies globally, with the U.S. recognized as the most significant deficit and debtor country, whereas Japan is the largest surplus and creditor nation. The exchange rate fluctuations between the dollar and yen have been dramatic, impacting trade relations and economic stability. Over the past 3 decades, trade frictions, such as America's import surcharge and Japan's voluntary export restraints, have posed challenges to the global trading system, highlighting the crucial role of economic relations between these nations and their impact on the global economy. Notably, the economic standings of these countries have reversed over the past decade. Initially, in the late 1980s, Japan was viewed as a rising economic power, while the United States appeared to be losing its competitive edge. U.S. companies adopted Japanese management practices, while Japanese investors heavily invested in the United States. However, this scenario has shifted dramatically, with the United States experiencing economic expansion and low unemployment rates, while Japan faces economic stagnation despite being in a fast-growing region. Japan's lack of economic growth, despite fiscal stimulus and low interest rates, underscores systemic issues, particularly in deregulation and financial system reform. The paradoxical nature of U.S.-Japan relations today is evident as, while security arrangements are strong, economic disagreements have intensified, posing a threat to bilateral relations. Macroeconomic policies and exchange rate concerns have taken precedence over traditional trade friction points, with a U.S. focus on Japan's macroeconomic recovery driven by domestic demand rather than a trade surplus. The Asian economic crisis has further emphasized the necessity for Japanese economic recovery to ensure regional and global economic stability. While U.S. short-term gains are evident through a rising dollar and trade deficit, long-term threats loom due to currency and trade cycles, as observed historically. Currency fluctuations, particularly the yen's weakening, its resultant effects on trade balances, and subsequent economic impact, underline the recurring cycle of economic interactions causing trade frictions. Addressing these issues requires Japanese economic recovery, grounded in structural reform and market openness, alongside international cooperation to stabilize currency values, benefiting both economies. The present economic climate between Japan and the United States brings to the fore issues related to macroeconomic strategies and exchange rate policies. Japan's economic revival is pivotal not just for resolving internal stagnation, but also for alleviating the broader Asian economic crisis. Given Japan's significant influence in Asia's economic sphere, its recovery is crucial for regional stability, as seen in countries like Korea and Indonesia, reliant on export growth where Japan plays a deciding role. Consequently, U.S.-Japan relations are at a pivotal juncture, with the economic discord potentially jeopardizing other bilateral progress, particularly if Japan's economic state remains unchanged. The cyclical nature of currency and trade imbalances underscores long-standing challenges, and with frequent currency valuation shifts leading to trade imbalances, provoking trade tensions and destabilizing global systems. Historical cycles have shown this pattern where currency volatility has led to extended economic repercussions in both countries. Japan's weakened yen, deliberate or due to structural weaknesses compared with the United States, has been a source of tension, amplifying the call for Japan to induce domestic-led growth rather than leveraging trade surpluses as a solution. The yen's depreciation, while initially stimulated as a reactionary measure to economic challenges and aimed at fostering growth through increased trade surplus, has resulted in broader international backlash due to its unsustainable nature. Return to equilibrium exchange rates through domestic economic reforms is necessary and requires a strategic economic program encompassing tax cuts, increased real government spending, comprehensive financial sector reform, and currency stabilization measures, potentially achieved through international collaboration among major economies like the G7. Ensuring the yen's rise back to its sustainable levels is crucial to prevent economic distortions and friction with the U.S. long-term U.S. debtor status juxtaposed against Japan's creditor position should align with currency market dominance, advocating for a stronger yen. Critics of this approach worry about Japan's fiscal health with increased budget deficits, though structural economic recovery appears to be central to the solution. Economic stability and continued trade expansion, particularly for states like Wisconsin heavily reliant on exports, necessitate resolving these U.S.-Japan economic tensions, underscoring the broader implications for trade-dependent American states and their economic prosperity. Let's recap the intricate economic relationship between Japan and the United States. We began by exploring the foundational economic roles these countries play. The United States, a major deficit and debtor nation, and Japan, the largest surplus and creditor nation. Over the past decades, these roles have defined their economic interactions, influencing global markets through significant exchange rate fluctuations. We've seen the yen and dollar dance to various tunes, from 360.1 in the 1970s to 80.1 in 1995, now resting around 130.1. These shifts have sparked trade tensions and led to economic measures, such as import surcharges and voluntary export restraints, impacting global trade stability. The economic narrative shifted in the late 1980s when Japan was perceived as the rising economic power, challenging the United States. However, the past decade has flipped this script, with the United States experiencing significant economic growth while Japan struggles with stagnation, despite implementing fiscal stimulus programs and maintaining a strong trade surplus. The ongoing economic debate centers around Japan's macroeconomic policy, with calls for rapid growth driven by domestic demand. This shift is crucial not only for Japan, but for resolving the broader Asian economic crisis and stabilizing the global economy. The recurring cycle of currency and trade imbalances poses significant threats, with Japan's competitive yen depreciation strategy causing international backlash. The fragile state of Japan's financial system adds another layer of complexity to this economic tango. The proposed solutions include tax cuts, real government spending increases, and comprehensive financial reform in Japan, alongside efforts to stabilize the yen-dollar exchange rate. These measures aim to restore Japan's economic health and prevent further trade frictions with the United States and other global partners. As we turn our focus to regions like Wisconsin, we see the tangible impact of this economic relationship on local economies. With Japan as a major trade partner, Wisconsin's manufacturing sector, heavily reliant on exports, stands to benefit significantly from a stable and prosperous Japan-U.S. economic relationship. In conclusion, the dance between these two economic giants is more than a bilateral affair. It is a major determinant of global economic stability. Understanding this relationship allows us to predict and possibly shape future economic outcomes that affect us all. If you found this analysis of the Japan-U.S. economic relationship insightful, make sure to subscribe and like this video. For more content on global economics and trade dynamics, explore our playlists Wall Street, Companies, and Investment 101. Stay informed and join us as we explore the forces shaping our world economy.